Welcome everyone, my name is Spidey, and yeah, today I'm going to be doing a tier list video. I'm going to be tier listing every legend in the game. I've done this video previously on New Year's to celebrate the New Year's, and it was supposed to be the last video of the year for me, but unfortunately, like, the recording was not right, and I couldn't use it, I couldn't post it, so yeah, I'm gonna redo it now because I've had some people ask me to redo it, and I'm gonna be talking a little bit about the legends. Some are worth talking a little bit more, some are not, and I'm not gonna just try to I'm also, yeah, what I want to say is that I'm going to also take another point of view, like if the legend is somewhat usable. Like, as you can see, I have a lot of tiers in here. I have top 5, then I have the S captain and S sub, which I like to put into 2 tiers because we have characters that are great subs but are terrible captains, and the other way around. So I wanted to have that separation. Then we have another 5 tiers. Then we have niche and very occasional usage, which are units that you literally use like once for like this specific type of thing, and that's it. You don't use it anywhere else. And then we have good and usable supports, which are units that are not good in normal content, but they have an okay support that can see play. That doesn't mean though that the units above don't have a good support, because most of them do. It just means that those units there they have nothing going on for them except for their support. So yeah, we're gonna start first. As you can see, we have like the normal legends, and then we have the super evolutions. I already got rid of um, the units that have a super evolution that is basically just an upgrade, but I left the ones that are like a side grade. The units do either different things or like the same unit but with different classes, and we are still going to take a look at them. Um, yeah, so let's start. Alright, so first of all we have this crocodile. I don't think he's good. His super evolution might, he is not. This Luffy is not good, but he has an okay support. This Luffy the same. Then we have this Usopp. I think I'm gonna put him on niche. He's like the biggest delayer in the game, but he doesn't really see that much play. Although I use him more than his super evolution, but yeah, is okay-ish in some scenarios where you really need the big delay. If not, then there's no use for him. Now this boa, she's not that great. Yeah, I don't even know why I kept her here. This law, like, this law is not terrible, but it's just not really great either. Um, there's like is a side grade because like the super evolution does the same thing but for cerebral, and this one does it for striker if I'm not wrong. It's not terrible, like at least he has a good support, so I'm gonna put him here for now. I might bump him here, but for now I'm gonna leave him there. This Lucci is not terrible either, like you can still see some play. This Judge, I think like Judge is an interesting case because in a lot of scenarios the 6-star Judge is better than the 6 plus, but a 6 plus it's like better if you limit break expand him, but they still do different things because this one has utility to get around the 7 turns of bind, the other one doesn't. But the other one, if you limit break expand him, he becomes a rainbow captain and a solid captain, to be honest. So yeah, this one is a better sub than the other, and the other one upon expansion is a better captain. Without expansion is just terrible. Then we have Doffy. I think he's one of the niche. You only use Doffy like in almost just for fun. Like in there's it's a very specific because you can't have normal text only, for instance. Um, and it's kind of a specific one that only sees play here and there, but it's still fun to use sometimes, so I'm gonna put him there. We have Luffy and Ace, man, they are not good. This unit needs a 6 plus like desperately. If they need to give a dual unit a 6 plus, I think it needs to be Luffy and Ace and Cat and Dog. Like these two mainly need a 6 plus desperately. Then we have this Shanks, which I still think is quite solid. I might put him in the D tier for now. He's a very solid unit because he can fit in any team. Like if you have him and like a full, I don't know, like strength team, he will give an attack boost to strength and give a chain boost as well. He will give the boost depending on the color of the rest of your crew. So I think he's really cool for that. Especially for beginner players, like this Shanks is one of the best units you can get because it just helps you out so much in a lot of scenarios. But like yeah, mid games to hand game, he doesn't really see that much play anymore. But I think he's still solid. Like the same as this Akainu. Like some people actually like this Akainu. Like I don't. I never really had any fun playing with him. I never really understood why use him in the first place. It's just not a very good unit for me. But yeah, if you can manage to get him to work, he can be fun sometimes. On the other hand, I do prefer this Skusan over that Akainu. Yeah, he's an attack booster, he's a orb changer. I use him a lot of times for Garb challenge, so yeah, he's a nice unit. This Luffy doesn't really see that much play, he's just not that great. I mean, he can still be a little bit fun here and there to use, but it's just not that great anymore. This Zoro, I think I'm gonna put him there. He can still see some play. He's okay in Rumble for quick teams to make them quicker. He's an okay unit, nothing crazy there. This Katakuri, V1 Katakuri, it's an interesting one again, because Katakuri, like him and the 6 plus version, they like diverge a little bit. Whilst the 6 plus upon expansion is like really good as a captain, is an actual pretty solid captain. The 6 star is better as a sub. It's the same thing as like this Judge. The 6 star is better as a sub because the 6 plus doesn't really do anything for you if they are a sub. But as a captain, they are like really bad. They are way better and they are more fun to use. But the 6 plus ends up a lot of times seeing a bit more play because of their usability as a sub. Then we have Kung Fu Luffy. Like he has a good support. I don't really use him for anything else other than support. His support is like one of the best legend supports in the game. I use him all the time. Then we have Warco. Like I don't really like this unit anymore. I could put them here for now. I'm gonna put them at the top in here so that I can remember, and at the end we'll see what we do. Shiki is not great, Zephyr is not great. Although both the Shiki and the Zephyr have interesting supports. The problem with Shiki is that his support will only attach to Dr. Indigo and Scarlet, which makes him like not that useful because you don't really have that many Scarlets or Dr. Indigos in the game. But the Zephyr is actually pretty nice. This Shiki changes, I think it's Dex quickening slots into recovery, if I'm not wrong. And this Zephyr, it changes block slots, like it changes all block slots into matching for shooter characters, which is really nice. The problem is that it only attaches to Hein and Beans, but you do have a very good Hein in the game, which is still one of the better rare recruits in the game. I use her all the time, and this support is really good if you are building a mono shooter team. Then we have Katakuri. I think I'm gonna put him here. Katakuri doesn't really see that much play, nor as a captain. neither as a captain nor as a sub. Is still an okay. It's still a kind of okay, but like if there's normal text only, it's just useless. So yeah, if there isn't, he can be a little a fun unit to use. Barto Cavendish, I think I can put him there. They once were not that great, like a year ago or something. They were not that great because Driven were not good. But now that Driven has seen a huge bump for these past months, they started to see a little bit more play. Driven is now like arguably one of the best classes in the game. I'd say it only loses to Free Spirit. Still, like Free Spirit is still broken. There's nothing to say about that. So yeah, I think they'll see a little bit more play still. But yeah, for now they are gonna be there. Sanji Judge, although I'm not the biggest fan of Sanji Judge, they can be useful sometimes. The problem is that they only boost Powerhouse. They give like an attack and or boost and a chain boost, but they only boost Powerhouse, which is a little bit of a shame. But the good thing is that if you with the new V2 Straw Hats, a lot of these units will definitely be better because like this Sanji Judge, if you bring V2 Straw Hats as a captain, as a friend captain, sorry, you can still bring them as a sub, and they will basically be a rainbow attack or booster and chain booster for your whole crew. So that's nice, and I think for that I might have to put them like at the end of that tier. I don't think they are better than Shanks and Skusan. But yeah, then we have. I mean, this Sabu, like he's not terrible, like, but he doesn't really see that much play. And now that we have the Super Evolution, his Super Evolution is much better, although they do exactly like the opposite. One gives a chain boundary and an attack boost. The other one, no, wait, sorry. One gives a attack boost and chain boost. This one gives an ore boost and chain lock. But I don't really like see much usage for him. Like it just doesn't really see that much play. I can bump him here at the end of this tier, if I could, but it doesn't go there. But it doesn't really see that much play nowadays, and it's understandable why. But yeah, I'm gonna leave him there for now. He can still be usable, don't get me wrong, but yeah, he's not great. Then we have Luffy Law, which I still think are a solid unit. I think I have to put them here. They can still see play, like their swap effect is still very nice. They are not that great as a captain nowadays, but they are still a pretty solid sub. There's not much to say about this. Like this whole batch of dual units are still usable. We have Big Mom, which I think I'm gonna have to put in here. This Big Mom is usually used mainly in Garb challenges and Kizuna clashes. Apart from that, yeah, she doesn't really see play, any kind of play. But for those like two types of content, she's really solid. Sabu Koala, I think I can't put them like higher than these as well. Like they don't really see that much play. They are solid, but there's just better options nowadays for a lot of the stuff that they do. Although they still have like one thing that for me it's like the highlight of their kit, which is the ability to remove like completely remove the negative orb effects. If I'm not wrong, they are still the only unit in the game that does that, so that's a plus if you ever need it. And a lot of people sometimes forget that their kit does that. It's a cool effect. Cat and dog are just not great. They can still be usable, but nowadays, like we have the new where they are. We have the new cat and the new dog, which will a lot of sometimes see play, which will make these units even less play because you can't have both of them. But yeah, this unit is another one that needs a 6+ desperately, and the classes that they boost are not like they are okay, but they are not classes that necessarily need what they do for those classes. So yeah, then we have Vivi Rebecca, which I still think it's either like an S tier sub or an A tier. I'm gonna leave them at A, but I might have to bump them up, because lately they have not seen that much usage, because there's not been like much content lately that requires you to reduce like a lot of turns of Death Up or Rainbow Shield. It has been like usually 4 or 5 turns, so you can get around that with just normal rare recruits. But they are still really good, and their swap effect is still one of the better ones in the game. Like you get orb manipulation, you get chain lock, and you get healing. Like that's really solid. Shira, Hodgman, Sherry. Although a lot of people don't like this unit, and I get why people don't like this unit, I can't put them like lower than this, because I actually really like this unit, and like a lot of times when I have the chance to, I'll use them. For me, they are a fun unit. Most people will disagree with me, and that's fine. Opinions are opinions. Then we have Stampede Luffy, which I still think it's not a terrible unit. I might have to put him here. It's basically a unit focused around him hitting the hardest, and that's basically it. As a captain, he's got still a really cool effect, although his multipliers are like lower, are not as great as they once were. The ability to get around despair and paralysis completely with his captain ability only, it's still very good. It's basically like a Halloween Mihawk and Halloween Law in one unit, but with lower multipliers. So yeah, I really like that. And he also boosts his 3 classes, which is kinda cool. So yeah, for now I'm gonna have to leave him there. Then we have Kaido. Like I don't really see the fun of using Kaido anymore. It's just a boring unit. But yeah, you can't say that he's a bad unit, because he's still nice. A lot of times, if there is no normal text only, like it's the same thing as like this Katakuri and this Doffy. Like if there is no normal text only, then they are usable. But the thing is that if there is no normal text only, you wouldn't go for like Katakuri or Doflamingo, because you would use Kaido. You would just wave clear everything. And I think that's a plus. For beginner players, it's like I'd say it's probably like the best unit you could get, because it will allow you to farm a lot of the good free-to-play units that you can as quickly as you can. So yeah, I think is still okay, although I don't really see the fun of using the unit, and these multipliers are not great. So like outside of just quick farming for beginners, you won't really use Kaido anywhere else. Halloween Ace. I mean, Halloween Ace, like his multipliers are not great, but he's like the same thing as like the Stampede Luffy. Like the ability to resist two debuffs. The ability to resist 2 debuffs with the captain ability only. It's really cool. He can resist special reverse and special bind as a captain, and he also gets around bind and gives an attack boost with his special. So like it's a very good pack. But his multipliers are not great, and the fact that he only boosts fighter and shooter, like fighter are not terrible, they are getting a little bit better, but shooter are still not great, so he doesn't really see that much play because of that. If they start buffing shooters again one day, then he could see a lot more play, and maybe give him a super evolution in the future. It could be a very good unit. We have Chopper, which I still think like a lot of people will disagree with me, but I think he's still an S tier sub. Yeah, I really like this Chopper. For me, he's still like my most used sub legend. I mean, is my most used like legend as a sub. I use him all the time because he gets around so many stuff. Like a lot of times, you don't need to bring different units to do different stuff, because you can bring Chopper and you'll get around everything. It's a very complete pack, and the fact that he gets around 5 turns of all those things, it's like paralysis, bind, special bind, attack down, um, I don't know, like burn, despair. He gets around all of that by 5 turns, and then like also will remove poison completely, and will also give you like 200 it will also give you like 12,000 HP healing at the end of the turn, like for like 3 turns. Like that's still goated, and that's my main 2 sub all of the time. And as a captain, you only use him to farm cotton candy, pretty much. But if you limit break expand him, he actually becomes a rainbow 4 times captain, so that's actually not that bad. I've used him a few times to clear content. If you know me, you know that I usually try to beat like every arena when they come out with Chopper as a captain. So yeah. Then we have Luffy Zorro, which I'm not the biggest fan, but I can see why people would use him. Chaozu, my mate Chaozu, he does use Luffy Zorro quite a few times, and he can make the unit look fun, but for me I just don't really have that much fun using him. But yeah, I guess it's likes, everyone has theirs. Then we have Soba Mask. I think they are a bit better than Luffy Zorro. He is a bit better than Luffy Zorro. And I still think that I might have to put him on an 8 tier. No, yeah, he's going B tier. I can't put him higher. He's not a terrible unit. He's a great sub for a lot of cases, like rainbow attack boost and or manipulation, like, and you can get them. You can get it almost every turn. It's really good. He still sees a lot of play. Then we have Nami Robin, which is one of those units that a lot of people don't like. I personally do. And the fact that now you can choose the unit that becomes the captain, that starts the game for dual units, has made this unit better as a sub, because now before you every time you switch to Robin, you would automatically get a full board of empty slots. But now you can start it the other way around, so that when you swap to Nami, you get the orbs, but when you swap to Robin, you can get a full board of orbs. So yeah, now they made them better, and they also see a lot of play in Kizuna, and that's basically like the most play that they see. It's on Kizuna and Garb challenges, but mainly Kizunas, because they get around paralysis. They give a huge orb boost. They can do some orb manipulation. They do damage, so they can have some cool supports attached to them. So yeah, that's where they see the most play. We have Arlon Crew, which I'm not the biggest fan, but I can see. Yeah, it's like the good thing about Arlon Crew is that because they are an Arlong unit, they can have the Holy support attached on them. So if you're building a mono powerhouse, you can get a -2 cooldown to your entire crew when you get special reverse. So that's really nice. It's the only support, if I'm not wrong, that resists special reverse on the whole crew instead of just one character. And I think that's the main thing about them. They also give a minor base attack boost with their switch effect, which can see some play, can be useful sometimes. But yeah, that's not much about that. I still think that Shanks Crew is an 8 tier. I don't think they are an S tier anymore, but they are still definitely an 8 tier. Their swap is still like goated, although we do now have the Roger and Whitebeard. Shanks Crew swap is still goated. Their ability to give you a huge chain lock for 3 turns, it still sees a lot of play nowadays, because it can allow you to ignore preemptive chain locks. Although, like for instance, in like Kizunas, you wouldn't really want a chain lock, but because they give a 3.5 times chain lock, something you can do is buff their chain lock with Pirona, so that you can get a 4 times chain lock, which is huge. It's like, I think it's like one of the higher chain locks in the game. And the combo of them with Pirona, it's very nice, and I'd advise you to try it out yourself if you haven't tried it. We have Mihawk Pirona, which, yeah, they are not terrible. I think I may have to put them there. They have seen a lot more play recently with this Kizune and everything, because their abilities are completely negated by immunity, unless there's like more than one enemy. But like for bosses, they wouldn't really be that useful, because a lot of the times the boss would have full immunity. But nowadays what is happening is that they are making more content with less full immunity. The unit, like the boss, would have specific types of immunity, like poison immunity and delay immunity. So that allows Mihawk and Pirona to shine, because you can get a 2 times conditional guaranteed, because there's no negative immunity. So yeah, that's a really cool effect, and that's the reason why they see some play. Disraeli, Disraeli is not great. I never really liked Disraeli, but the fact that now with V2 Straw Hats as a captain, they make every buff be rainbow. It actually makes this like really very solid unit, because it gives him the ability to be a rainbow attacker or booster for your whole crew, and also will allow your whole crew to bypass enemies' defensive effects, which is still goated. Like it's still a very cool effect, and that's the main reason why this rarely will see play nowadays. It's only under the Straw Hats, because if it's not under the Straw Hats, you won't really see any play. Then we have the Skusan. Yeah, he's an okay unit. He's nothing crazy. I think like, yeah, he sees some play in guard challenges. I use him a few times. He's not a terrible unit. He's a chain captain. Like, I don't use him as a captain because he's a chain captain, and I'm not the biggest fan of chain captains. They can be useful, but I'm not really a big fan of them. It's not like my main go-to. But as a sub, he's still a nice sub. He gives you an orb boost. He gives you a color affinity boost. So that's okay. Then we have Snakeman. I think Snakeman is still a solid unit. He's not like as good as he once was, but the fact that he's a Luffy unit, he can have access to a lot of supports, and his super type like doesn't really do much, but it does something, and it's a 2 times rainbow attack boost, and he also does damage, so that's always nice. And then we have Sabu, which a lot of people might disagree with me on, but I still think that, if you just want to select, I still think that Sabu is better than Luffy, not because like Luffy is a bad unit, but because the Sabu is like, it was one of the like highest damage captains. Like you could achieve the most damage with him as a captain or a friend captain. Nowadays you have other units like Yamato, which are basically this Sabo but better, because Sabo will only boost strength units, and he also does a huge color affinity and chain boost for multiple stages, so that's also another cool effect of his kit. I still like this Sabo. He probably doesn't really see that much play nowadays, other than like Kizuna's. So for that reason, I would probably have to put him like a little bit lower. But yeah, I still think that he's a solid unit. He's probably gonna have to go to like the end of this tier. But yeah, I don't really see any usage for him other than Kizuna's. We have this Blackbeard, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I think this Blackbeard is not like, he was great once. Nowadays he doesn't really see that much play because we have another unit, which is this one, Toki, which is basically this Blackbeard but on crack. She allows you to do the same thing as him, but for like 2 units other than just one. Um, and also allows you to resist effects, which Blackbeard doesn't. This Blackbeard just, other than like for fun teams and something or something like that, it doesn't really see that much play. I personally don't really use him. It was my first ever limit break expansion though, for Legends. Yeah, it was. I was not okay when I did that. As a like beginner player, to do a limit break expansion on a Legend straight ahead, it's not like the best thing to do. But I did it because I made a no stall speedrun team against Garp challenges, and for that to work I needed Blackbeard to be limit break expanded. So yeah, I kind of regret my choices there, but yeah, it is what it is. When we have Kids, which I still think it's not great, but it's still a little bit better than Blackbeard. I might have to put him like here though. Like, he's not great, but he's not terrible. It's like it's the same thing as this Luffy. He doesn't really see that much play because there's no need for these units to be used nowadays because there's some better ones. But yeah, whilst like Luffy is overshined by Straw Hats, this kid is overshined by like Final Tap Kid, which is used a lot more times than this kid. And if you have like Final Tap Kid, you won't really have any space for this one. So like other than guard challenges, you won't really use this kid. We have Hawkins, which I don't really like Hawkins, to be honest with you. I think he is not like a great unit at all. I can see the fun of using him sometimes, but he's not great. Yeah, there's not much to talk about. He's like, he's just not great. Not like, his captain multiplier is really low. His special doesn't really do anything crazy for you. Yeah, not the biggest fan of. This Law, I still think it's like an 8 tier unit. Probably like bottom of 8 tier, but still an 8 tier. Is still like a solid unit because it still does a chain boundary, orb manipulation, and orb boost. And as a captain, his multipliers are kind of low, but he has a huge tankiness. You can get a huge amount of damage reduction with his captain. And yeah, he's mainly used for his special, especially in like harder difficulty content, like Kizuna's for instance. The fact that he can give you a chain boundary effect is huge. Then we have this Akainu, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but I can see why people would use him. And one actually good thing with this Akainu, it's to pair him up with versus Ace, and you will basically have almost every orb in the game count as beneficial for your crew, so you'll never, unless you get like block slots, you won't be getting, or like bomb slots, you won't be getting any negative orbs for the whole run. So that's a really cool something that you can try for yourself. Now we have the Smoker. Smoker is just like the Nami Robin. It doesn't really see any kind of play other than in Kizuna's. Like for Kizuna's, he is actually not bad. He's got a really good support. Like he gives you an attack boost for quick units. That's a really cool support. It's basically like the main reason why I would use him. It's for his support. Although like as a sub, he's not like terrible. He's not great, but like he's not terrible. And as a captain, he's a bad captain. I'm not the biggest fan of how they built this one, but yeah. Then we have Sugar, which on the other hand, like whilst if we have Smoker, which is like not that great, not that well built, I still believe that Sugar it's one of the like it's one of my favorite units in the game still. Although she doesn't really see that crazy amount of play nowadays, it's not because like she's a bad unit that she doesn't see play. She doesn't see play because nowadays content is getting a tiny bit harder, and it's not harder like in terms of HP, which is like if the enemy has like a really high HP, you can use Sugar because she will boost your damage by a huge amount. The enemies are not having like higher HP, they are having more debuffs to be handled, which like you doesn't really leave you with much place for Sugar, which is basically a unit that was made to allow you to get a huge amount of damage. So yeah, that's basically it. But I still like every time I have the chance, I literally use Sugar. Now we come to my favorite unit in the game. And yes, this is my favorite unit in the game. Like, there's no unit for me that is as good for me personally, like that I enjoy playing with the most as Boa. Like, I beat every content in the game with Boa if I can, and she can do it. She can beat everything. Um, she can still be a 5 times multiplier. Her special is really cool, and the fact that we now have the Mr. Tree support, it makes her even better because she is a 14 turn cooldown unit, but with expansion she becomes a 13-1, and then with Mr. Tree support she becomes basically an 11 turn cooldown unit, so you can use her on like stage 3 or like stage 4 to reduce the rest of your whole crew the cooldowns, to make the run a little bit faster. But yeah, she's still like really solid. Personally, like if I could, I would put her like top 5 if this was like a tier list of the most fun units. For me, she's definitely like the most fun unit to use. I use her a lot, and when I mean a lot, is like a lot. Um, but yeah, I have to be fair. So because I have to be fair, I and not try to be the less biased as possible, I feel she will still be on the A tier. But yeah, she won't be that high there. Now we have Roger, which yeah, look, I am not the biggest fan of Roger anymore because he has become like a boring unit. Um, and I think he's not. I a lot of times make teams that I find fun to use, not just teams that because like Roger is. Yeah, I need a need to make a team for this. Let's go for Roger because he's a Rainbow 5 times captain, and yeah, we'll build the rest of the team after that. I usually start with subs, and then I choose a captain that fits those requirements of the subs. And whilst Roger would work for that because he's a rainbow captain, it doesn't really make it much fun. And I should probably put him top 5, and I'm going to leave him top 5 for now. But I might have to bump him down to the S captain. We'll have to see about that because there's some units that I've been actually finding pretty like godly these past months. So for now he's going to be there, but we'll see how it goes. Then we have Mihawk and Law, which are probably like B tier. Although I do prefer Mihawk over Law. I still think that Mihawk is a better unit overall. And like Law, you wouldn't really use Law unless like there's no normal attacks only and you just need to make it a little bit faster, you use Law. If not, then yeah, Mihawk is like 100% way better than Law as a captain. There's not much to talk about them, like they are a very like powerful combo to resist paralysis and despair with captains only. Get like multiple stages of attack and orb boost, get orb manipulation, you get like resilience, a lot of stuff. You get a utility to reduce 10 turns of Rainbow Shield with Mihawk. So yeah, they are still pretty solid, and they both have very cool supports. especially Law. Law sees a lot more play than Mihawk's. Then we have Shanks, which I don't really like this Shanks. Like I think this Shanks was very poorly designed. It's like this Hawkins. Like there's no need to use this Hawkins because he's not good. He's a very like he's a new unit. New like he's a recent unit, quote unquote. Um, that was like it looks like it was designed like 1 year prior to its release. So it was already like outdated when they came out. So I'm not the biggest fan of that. Then we have Luffy Sanji, which I still think it's probably like low of A tier maybe. Maybe not low, but like below Vivi Rebecca and Shanks crew. Luffy Sanji are still like a solid sub. As a captain, they are not that good anymore because of their multipliers, but you can take advantage of them for some cases. And I've did that previously in some teams. I did take advantage of their kit, but nowadays you have like Luffy crew, which will be like your go-to captain or even sub a lot of times. So there's no really space for them. Then we have Sweet Commanders, which have a cool captain ability to resist despair. I still gonna put them on B tier, probably below the dynamic duo though. But yeah, I still think they are really cool, and like their special gives a good amount of damage. Like it's a very cool special, gives you an attack boost, gives you color affinity, gives you chain boost. Their super type is like it gives you like cooldown and does some damage. It's not really that great. It's a little bit of a turn down for them. I don't really like. I like using this unit. They are a solid unit, but nowadays there's not much space for them, I feel. But yeah, they are a very fun unit to use actually. Then we have Big Moment Kaido. Which is a little bit of a tricky one because they were great and they are not that great nowadays. I think I may have to put like Kaido in here and Big Mom on the S captain. You won't really use Kaido nowadays because you have normal text only in most of the content, and he is not that great for that. And I feel like between Kaido and Big Mom, I use Big Mom a lot more than Kaido, and this is saying that even not using Big Mom a lot, I still use her more than Kaido. She can be fun sometimes, and even like the ability to get some Samlo orbs, it's really nice. Although I still believe that Kaido is not like S tier at this moment in time, Big Mom is better, and I'm gonna have to leave Kaido there for now. V2 Vivi Rebecca. This is an interesting one because I'd probably like have to put them like on B tier, and I still have to do. Although nowadays they have actually become a very good unit. Upon like if you use them with the V2 Straw Hats again, like these unit V2 Straw Hats, they just makes a lot of these units like way better than they are. But yeah, like V2 Vivi Rebecca, they only boost they boost Striker and Cerebral, which is fine, you know, it's not terrible. I've used it a couple times. But now they can become a rainbow unit to give you like ore boost, an attack boost, give you a chain boost with their swap, and also give you some utility as well. That's a cool effect to have, and I believe that they will definitely see more play as time goes by because of the Straw Hats. On the other hand, we have Shira Hodgman Sherry, which I still believe is like one of the best subs in the game. Unfortunately, I still don't have V2 Shira Sherry. It's a shame because it's like one of the only units, older units that I don't have. I tried so hard to get them. Like every time they are available, I go in for their banners and all of that, and I just can't get my hands on them because they are still like great. They are like the perfect sub. They are one of the most perfect subs, and unfortunately I can't get my hands on them. So that is a little bit of a turn down. But yeah, they are still great. Sanji Pudding, I still think they are probably like A tier. I think they are A tier. Like I can't put them B tier. They are okay. They are below Kaido. Oh my god, why won't it change? Alright, thank you. I still believe that Sanji Pudding is cool. They are like a somewhat alternative version of Vivi Rebecca, but they do some other stuff as well. Yeah, I still believe that they are a very cool unit. I don't have them as well. I don't actually have. I think I don't have. I don't have most of the Rumble and the Kizuna Legends, which is a shame. Rumble ones I don't have because I don't really like pulling for on Rumble banners. I just don't really like that because I don't really play Rumble that much. I sometimes go for the championship. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I don't really try to rank higher there, so I don't pull on Rumble banners. On Kizuna banners I do pull sometimes, not very often, but I do pull sometimes. So yeah, I hope that I can get Sanji Pudding one day. And maybe when I get them, my opinion might change. Who knows? V3 Zoro is not a terrible unit. I'd still probably put him like at the top of B tier. He's a cool unit. Like I use him quite a few times, and he has actually seen a little bit more play recently with the cat and dog, with the arena queen basically. Cat and dog batch. He's a good unit for them. And I think you will see some more play with that combo with like either cat or dog. You will definitely see some play. So yeah, I still think he's a solid unit. Kaido, I'm not the biggest fan of this Kaido. I just don't really see that usage for him. A lot of people like this Kaido and really like rate him really highly. I personally do not like this Kaido. I'm not the biggest fan of how this unit was designed because there's a lot of like recent factors in the game that just make this character literally useless. The fact that it doesn't get around like block slots, like if there's normal attacks only, it's done. If there is like full immunity, it's done. Like, and a lot of times nowadays we have that, like every content will have like either like full immunity and at normal attacks only, or just like change your block slots to block slots. You know, it doesn't really see that much play. Yeah, I don't really find it that great, and like even the increased damage taken that he does is now being a little bit overshadowed by Final Tap Law, because Final Tap Laws goes through immunity, and by Yamato's, because Yamato's, whilst it's still a little bit lower than Kaido's, they also do or manip to Wano slots, and they change block slots to Wano, so that's like a plus over Kaido. And both are driven units, so yeah, why use one and not use the other? But it is what it is. NL, I still believe that NL is not a terrible unit. He seems to be fun. I've used him a few times as a friend captain, but not as a captain or a sub because I don't have him. Like I said, I don't pull for Rumble characters. Then we have Akainu and Ace. I still think that Ace and Akainu are S tier. I'm not sure if they are top 5 anymore, but they are definitely S tier. I'm gonna have to see about that in a bit. But yeah, they are very good. Like, I actually prefer, a lot of people would prefer Akainu over Ace. I do actually prefer Ace over Akainu because Ace has the ability to not only give you a chain boundary, which is in my opinion better than a chain block, but he also will allow you to resist special rivers, and he also boosts free spirit, which is the best class in the game, whilst the other one boosts driven, which is the second best one. Although a lot of people prefer Akainu, I still prefer Ace over Akainu. Then we have, and the Ace actually works pretty well with units like Nami Usopp and Yamato. They work very well all together. We have then Magellan, which a lot of people will hate on Magellan. I actually kinda like Magellan. Yeah, I think like Magellan is a solid unit. He's not terrible as some people may say. He has double special activation. He can do some different stuff. He resists paralysis as a captain. So I have actually used him as a captain a lot of times because of that, the ability to resist paralysis. His special also gets around like burn and bind, and gives you color affinity, gives you an attack boost, gives you poison, and you can get like conditionals with support and everything. So yeah, I think he's still a pretty solid unit. Blackbeard, I don't like this Blackbeard like at all. Other than like Kizuna's, this Blackbeard will never see play because he's a bad unit. But because of Kizuna's, I can't put him here because that Shanks and that Hawkins, for instance, don't really see play anywhere, whilst this Kizuna Blackbeard can still see play on Kizuna's. But although he's not like top of this list, if he was like anything, he would be at the bottom row of the list. But I can't put him there right now. We have Moria, which I still think it's a cool unit. I don't think it's like top 5 units, not even close to that, not even S tier. It would be like almost at the end of this. I think yeah, around here would be wise. Moria is a cool unit. I just never really like used him that much because I got him not that long ago. I mean, not that long, like a few months, but it was like 2 months after his debut. So yeah, nowadays it doesn't really see that much play for me at least. Then we have Fire Tank Pirates, which is another Kizuna unit that I don't own. They are really cool. I think they are 8 tier. I have not played with them yet. I hopefully want to get them anytime soon. And maybe when I play with them I can try them out and really see what they are capable of. But from like what I've seen people use and what I talk about with people that have them, they are a very cool unit. They are very tanky. They are a unit to be played with like really slow. They are not a very like speed unit. So like if you want a speed run, let's say, or at least like a speed theme for a content, then you wouldn't go for him because he's a very slow unit. But yeah, I think they are pretty cool. The way they were designed, it's pretty cool. We have Bonnie, which is an interesting one because Bonnie arguably would be like B tier, I'd say probably. But with feature Straw Hats that made her like really good. The fact that now she can become a rainbow attack booster. She can become she does chain lock, she does orb manipulation, she does a lot of stuff, and she also gets around like slot bind and special bind. She's a really cool unit. She's like a really cool sub and a really cool captain, especially to be used with Straw Hats. So I think I'm gonna have to leave her there. She would probably like be around the Big Mom and Moria, but I can't put her there apparently. Alright, I could. Yeah, she would be around there. This Luffy, I don't really like Luffy. Like, I don't see any usage for Luffy. Why would you go for him? I don't know. He's just like, yeah, pretty underwhelming. He's a pretty underwhelming unit, both as a captain and as a sub. I don't really like him that much. This Law, I still believe is either A or S captain. I think I'm gonna have to leave him on A. The same as Kid. Like both of these units, although like I prefer Law over Kid. I don't actually own Kid myself. It's the only super type legend that I don't have. it's the only one of the super final tap legends that I don't have. Is not terrible at all. Is a good unit. Is a good cerebral unit. He does get better with Vitro Straw Hats. He does see a lot of play on Kizunas. And yeah, like the same for this kid. It's literally the exact same with like this kid and the Shira Hodgman Cherry. It's a great combo. And also this kid with the Straw Hats is also a great combo. So yeah, these units are probably over here. Ace and Sabu, this one is tricky because Ace and Sabu, like, I'd argue they are like top 5 because they are great captains for a dual unit. The ability to resist despair and special bind as a captain is great. They can give you like their super swap is amazing. Get a full board of matching orbs, and you get a huge color affinity. You can also get a big orb boost for like 3 turns. You can also do orb manip against like blow corp, so that you will always have matching orbs no matter what. So yeah, I think like the kits, the way they designed this unit, it's really cool. Some people have them still as like the best unit in the game. I don't think they are the best unit in the game, but they are pretty close to it, I believe. I might have to bump them down. We'll have to see again. There's gonna be some changes at the end. Yeah, I think I might have to speed it up because we still have a lot of units to talk about. Whitebeard versus Shanks, I still believe that they are as captain though, are they? I prefer like Shanks over Whitebeard if I'm being honest. I still believe that they are like a very cool unit. I'm not sure if I would put them like for now. They might go over here, but I'm not quite sure because I actually like prefer some them to use them as subs, although they are better as captains. But as a sub, I think they definitely see a little bit more play as a sub, especially Shanks. I think Shanks is a better sub than Whitebeard. And I think I might have to put like Shanks in here and Whitebeard up there. For now, this is gonna be it. I prefer to use Shanks as a sub than as a captain, and I prefer to use Whitebeard as a captain than as a sub. So I think that's a little bit more like distributed. We have Marco, which I'm not the biggest fan of. He's not a terrible unit. It's just like there's no real reason to use him a lot of times because there's units that are better than him, but that's not saying that he is a bad unit again. Sanji, like the same thing, like this Sanji is cool. The problem is that I might have to like bump them down. Yeah, the problem with this Sanji is that his buffs are actually kind of low because it's a 2 times buff to like Sci-Fi and Free Spirit, and it can do it like by 4 turns, like it's a 4 turns attack or 4 turns attack boost. But the problem is that it's a 2 times attack and a 2 times orb, which is like in 2022 levels. It's like really like down there. The fact that we are getting like units, a lot of these units do like a 2.5 or a 2.7 5 times boost, and now we have Sanji doing a 2 times attack boost and orb boost. It's not like that appealing in a lot of times. It does still see play in scenarios like treasure map, but outside of that, not really. Then we have the King and Queen batch. I think I might have to put like them both in here maybe. I still believe that Queen, no, yeah, I have to put Queen in there. I believe that Queen is better than King. I don't personally have King, I have Queen. And yeah, I think Queen is a little bit more usable than King. We have Toki, which is a top 5 legend for me. Toki is perfect, like it's one of the most perfect units you could ask for. You can use her in any team and she will just make your team like broken. Especially in Kizuna's, like Kizuna, she makes it like absolutely like destroying. In especially like even more if you pair Toki with like a final tap unit like Straw Hats and Yamato, and you have like Yamato giving huge boosts, huge chain boosts, like increase damage taken and 1-0 slots, and then you use like Toki on like the two units that will hit the hardest, and then like the third unit, but you don't hit with them last. With last you hit with the crew, with Straw Hat crew, and it will just make your damage go literally crazy. And we saw that in used on these latest super boss. Then we have the Straw Hats. I think like the Straw Hats are actually pretty cool. They are a very complete unit. The problem is that yeah, they don't really see that much play. They are a little bit overlooked, but I still think that they are actually like really good. Reiju, I think I'm gonna have to put Reiju here. Like at the beginning, I was more of a fan of Reiju than I was of Vivi, but I've actually used Vivi a lot these past few months since she came out. Then Reiju I've used like a couple times, and that's literally it. Whilst Vivi, I've used Vivi like vividly, like I've used Vivi a lot. I might have to put her there in the S captain and just take someone out. We'll have to see. For now, I'm gonna leave her here. Like I really like this Vivi, and she's a really cool unit. This Borsalino is an interesting one because I have not tried him out yet. So for now, I think like from what I've seen of him, I can't put him like higher than B. Like I've not seen him in usage in content that really needs it, because he doesn't really do like anything that it's really like needed. There's no content that really needs his help to be complete. It's just like a complementary unit that you can have. So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of that. And I've not yet tried him, so I still have to do that. This Luchi, I think this Luchi is really cool. He has a cool special. He does a cool amount of stuffs, and yeah. Alright, so yeah, now let's try and speed it up a bit, really. Kum, I think Kum is like not great. I'd probably put him here. Like he's an outdated unit once he came out. He was already outdated. I'm not the biggest fan of him. Yamato, I still believe it's goated. I'd probably put Yamato in here, and probably the Super Evolved version on the top 5. But for now it's gonna be like this. Then we have Ulti-Page 1, which is like S tier sub. For me it's it's probably like second favorite unit in the game after Boa. They are great. I still think that they are like one of the best subs in the game, especially to beat like higher difficulty content, especially like these super boss Kizunas. They are just perfect. This Boa, I have not yet the chance to try her out. I'm not the biggest. I like Boa units, but like this one just is not really doing it for me. Whilst like this Pirona, I feel like a lot of people sleep on this Pirona. I'd probably put her like in a sub or like a captain. I'd probably put her like as a sub for now. Or should I put her down here? I'm not sure. I'm gonna leave her here. She's great. She's like arguably she's the best conditional booster in the game. That's not that there's no argument there. And the fact that she can become like I think it's the third highest captain in the game. And also she can give you conditional through immunity with her super type. That's like really clutch. She's basically like a better version of Mihawk and Pirona, and she also can boost your chain boosts. So imagine you have like a chain boundary with like you're using Crocodile. You use Crocodile to give you an attack boost and a chain boundary, like the highest chain boundary in the game, and then you go ahead and you boost that chain boundary by 0.5, so it becomes a 3.5 times chain boundary, and you also are getting a attack boost, and now you are getting also a conditional attack boost. Like that's a huge boost on there. Then we have Koala, which it's like the bottom of A tier. Koala is not terrible. I prefer Koala over the Sanji, but she's not that useful. She is a fun unit, like, don't get me wrong, she's a very fun unit. She's not that useful in most scenarios. We have this Doffy, which I think it's I'd probably make an argument for like it's A tier, that's for sure, but it's not like top of A tier, not even close. It's like around here, I believe. Yeah, I think it would be like around there. And Katakuri would be like lower, yeah, around here. Because Doflamingo will definitely see some more play than Katakuri. Is a like better sub, and then Katakuri is more versatile. He can just be whatever you have, he can just complement that with by doing some other stuff, whilst Katakuri doesn't really do that. Then we have Crocodile, which might be a little bit of a trick one, but for me is top 5 best legend in the game. He's one of my favorites. I wanted to get my hands on him. I've pulled on 2 treasure map banners already, or like, I mean, yeah, it was like on the previous treasure map and this one, but I've pulled on every banner, on every part of that banner, and this one, and I still can't get my hands on him. But yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. He's just great. Nami Usopp, I get why people won't like Nami Usopp. I still believe that they are better than Robin and Jinbei, and they are definitely more fun to play with. I've actually had a lot more fun, and if you actually have not seen the video, I made a video using Nami Usopp, a showcase video using them as a captain against the Kid Training Forest. It's a very cool video. So if you want to check that out and see more about that unit, I'll talk about it there. I talk about them in that video. Robin and Jinbei are like below Nami Usopp in most scenarios, but they are like around the same level. But yeah, they are not that great. Like this batch of units is not that great. They are cool units, but technically you don't really need them. Although they, Robin and Jinbei give you a big base attack boost, like it's useful for a lot of scenarios. But Nami Usopp give you a big conditional and a big color affinity boost, so that's cool as well. Then we have the Kaido Pirates, which I think technically would have to go around where the other is, but just a little bit higher. Where is the other one? There. Like there's no real needs for them. I just don't really see any usage for them on normal content, except for like speed farming again. But yeah, you have the S1. The thing now is that whilst this one does type damage and it's better against quick content, if the content is Dex, you use Kaido in here. If it's strength, you use the Kaido crew. So yeah, it's literally just for that. I don't. Outside of that, they won't really see any play. Roger and Whitebeard, definitely top 5, and now it's the reason why I think I would have to bump Roger down, because I actually think that Straw Hats again are the best legend in the game. So this is a little bit finicky. Because there's also another unit that I want to put there in the top 5, which is Yamato. I think for me this is like the top 5 best units in the game, and I have to bump down Ace and Sabu for the S tier sub. Yeah, for me these are like the top 5 best units in the game. They are just, there's not much to talk about like Luffy and Roger Whitebeard that hasn't already been said. Same as Yamato, they are like perfect units. They are just completely goated. Ivankov, sorry, Bon Clay, it's an A tier captain. the amount of stuff that you can do with this Bond Clay, it's goated. His special is like very nice. He's a very unique legend. No legend in the game can do what he does. For Kizuna, he's like essential unit. Like if you have him, you're done with Kizuna. Like you don't need to worry about anything else. Damage wise, I mean, like you have him. You can pair him up with a lot of stuff. He's a Rainbow Captain, you know, all of those stuff going on for him. Then we have the new cat and dog, which are probably like 8 tier, but yeah, probably 8 tier, I'd say. Not much higher than these. They are cool, but they are not like game breaking or anything. You won't really go for them unless you want to like speedrun. If you want to speedrun, they are like, yeah, gods, like speedrun gods. But yeah, outside of like speedrunning, you won't really use them anywhere else. And now we have older units that have super evolutions. This Whitebeard is terrible, just don't bother, like, unless you want to do like for fun because he was like the first legend released on the game. Just don't bother. He's only good for like Rumble, and even there he's losing a lot of his shine because of Jack. We have this Boa, which, yeah, outside of support doesn't really have anything going on for her. Why is Katakuri there? I don't know. Yeah, why is Katakuri there? Alright, sorry. Then we have Katakuri. I think Katakuri is like in here as well. It's just another unit that is only used for Kizuna here and there, and even that it doesn't really see that much play. Usopp, not really. This Luffy support only. It's like this one, but they actually have like different supports. This Rayleigh is not terrible. I put him here. He has not seen that much play recently. He used to be like one of the better subs in the game. Nowadays he doesn't really see play that much, but his support is still goated. Like he's still one of the better supports in the game. Then we have Lucci, which no, it's a terrible unit. This Shanks as an okay support can be used. This Skusan only sees play on Rumble. This Ace Rumble, but has a cool support effect to lock slots, which is nice. Sengoku is terrible, don't bother. This Hody, I think I would have to put him here because he can still see some play here and there, and he has a really cool support effect. This Mihawk needs to go to the niche category. It's the same thing as this, like Doflamingo, it's literally the same, you use him the same way. Then we have this Zoro, which only supports, it doesn't really have anything else going on for him. This Law, I think I'm gonna have to put him there. It's like this one, but it's a side grade because that one boosts the Cerebral. And he also has a cool support effect. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to leave him there. This Crocodile though, this Crocodile, I think a lot of people will disagree with me. But I think that like this Crocodile, if you limit break expand him, it's probably like around here. If you don't limit break expand him, he would probably be out of the list. So for that reason I have to put him here. Because this Crocodile is actually worth limit break expanding in my opinion. He gets really good, and with the new Straw Hats, that makes him like a rainbow attack booster, and he has his cooldown like really quick, and he also becomes a 4 times Captain to Cerebral, so that's not terrible at all. We have Barto, which is only used for his support. This Law is not terrible. It's like, I'd say it's like pretty niche, but he also has a really cool support effect. This Borsalino, it's only good in Rumble. Buggy, it's on the niche as well. It's only used for more drops and for his support effect again. This Jinbei is not terrible at all. I actually think this Jinbei is really cool. This is like the other case that I was talking to you about. We have Judge. This one is a better sub. This one is a better captain. Only if you limit break expand him. If you don't, then he's terrible. It's like this Crocodile. If you limit break expand him, he's goated. If not, he's terrible. Yeah. We have Magellan, which I don't think is good, especially when you have the new one, which does the exact same thing. It's literally the same thing, but with a lot of stuff added on top. Corazon is a little bit worse than that Rayleigh nowadays, but it still has like a goated support effect. It's like one of the best ones, like these two. They do the same thing for different characters, it's goated. Yeah, I have to put him here. Also, like this Sabu, if Limit Break Expanded is okay, if not, is not that great. This Sanji is not good but has a good support effect. This Frankie is slowly becoming a meta unit, and I actually have to put him here for that. Because a lot of times nowadays we are getting inflicted with damage limiter, and this Frankie is the only unit in the game that can get around that, and it's actually quite fun to build around. So yeah, he's slowly becoming a meta unit. We have this Cavendish, which only has support. This dog is like okay in Rumble. His support is nothing crazy, but this cat has a really cool support effect. This Lucci as well, only support effect. Snakeman is not terrible still, it can still see play here and there, and it's not that hard to build for, is a good unit. This bow, I mean, I don't think I can put her there, but she can definitely see some play, like for free spirit units, and she's also like in Rumble. I think I can put her there. Like you can use her in content. It's like this Sabu. She's literally the same thing as like this Sabu. Like you, technically you wouldn't use it, but if you want to use it, it can be helpful here and there. We have this Doffy, which has a cool support and it's good in Rumble. Other than that, it's terrible, so I'm putting him there. Big Mom, I don't really like this Big Mom, but I know there's people that like her, so I think she can come here like at the bottom of this. Why does Sabu go all the way up every time? I can't understand what's happening here. Yeah, these three have to go down there. These Fujis, this is V1, yeah, so this one only has support going on for him. He's terrible, his special is terrible. Akainu the same thing. This Nami is not bad at all. I actually like this Nami. Shira Hoshi, yeah, she's a huge healer, but she has the ability to get rainbow slots, so that's actually a pretty cool effect of her. Now we have Bullet, which is an interesting. I think Bullet, like, he was a great unit. I'm not sure if I can put him here. If I put him at the B tier, it will literally have to be like at the end of the B tier. Yeah, I think it would have to be like around this, like more or less like this. Is not bad for like beginner players. It's really goated. For like end game players and mid game players, it just doesn't really do it that much. This Katakuri, like the same thing. I actually have to put him here. Whilst this one is better as a sub, this one is better as a captain, and this one sees more play as a sub. But when this one sees play as a captain, it does its job pretty well, and it's a very fun unit. And I can't disregard that. Pawn expansion is like a better, in terms of captain ability, a better delayer than Nami Usopp, which is a more recent unit. If you want to go for like the delay ability, you have to choose between these two. You would probably go for him. We have this Sabo, which is still like pretty solid unit. I use him here and there still. Robin, it's not terrible units. Especially upon expansion, and she has actually seen play on the new arena against Queen. She is actually a really good unit for there. This Marco I don't actually have. I think I have to like put him like at the really bottom of this as well. This Marco is not like that great. He's just a healer and an ore booster, but he does have a really cool support effect. And that on top of what he already does, I think he deserves to be a little bit on the spotlight. Quickbeard is still kind of solid. I actually quite like this Quickbeard still. This Fuji, it's niche, like you won't really use it unless he is only used for his end of turn HP cuts, which I've actually used to beat Arena Queen. He is a very slow unit for that though, but it is possible to use him. And yeah, if you guys wanted to see, like, I seen Subconsci, I think I've seen Subconsci use him for a few pieces of content already. And he's not, he's a very specific unit you only use for, like, if you want to have fun trying to beat specific content with only like HP cuts or something, because apart from that it's just terrible. This Garp has a really cool support effect, like really goated, and as a sub is actually pretty decent. And also because he's a Garp unit, he has access to Kuzan's and Kobe's supports, so you can get around like attack downs and all of that stuff, and blindness with support, so that's a plus. This Rayleigh is not great, but it's not terrible. I actually believe that out of the three Rayleighs is the one that is actually the better. Whilst, no, yeah, I mean, like, this one is definitely better than that one, but doesn't really see that much play nowadays. Then we have this Jinbei, now he's terrible, don't bother. We also have Capone. We have Bej, which is a good unit. Actually, upon super evolving, it actually became like really useful for shooter teams, and you can partner him up with versus Ace, and it's actually a pretty decent combo that I've used. We have this Blackbeard. It's like niche content. Apart from that, you don't really use him. I don't really like chain captains, so like Mihawk and Zoro, I'll probably have to put them like down here. Wait, where is Mihawk? Here. I don't really like chain captains, but like upon expansion they still work together really well. Not expansion, sorry, super evolution. This Sanji actually became a little bit better upon super evolution, but not as a captain or as a sub. But he's still like, he's a chain captain. If you want to use a chain captain as a captain, like, you are free to do so. I don't really like it. Onami, I believe, like, it's goated unit. I would actually want to put her here, but I have to try and be not that biased. But I actually like this Onami a lot. I use her a lot of times. Cracker, on the other hand, it's great. It's a good unit, but it just looks like upon super evolving him, whilst it does a lot more and is actually a pretty like better unit, he has actually seen a lot less play than when he didn't have super evolution. We have Komurasaki, which is, I still believe that Komurasaki is like a pretty decent unit. I think I have to put her where Onami is. Germa, upon like super evolving, like, Germa is just like really goated. They gave them super evolution to like fix everything that they had not going on for them that good, and I think they really made the unit like really good. They really fixed the unit. Sabu, like, this Sabu is very fun. A lot of people won't really like him, but he's actually like very fun. I've actually done a lot of showcases with him for like Garp Challenge and all of that, so if you want to check that out, you can see it in the in my channel. Just go there and you can see like playlists, and there will be the Garp challenges with him. Carrot, I think, like, honestly, Carrot is an A tier. Upon super evolving, they fixed they literally fixed their problems, Carrot's problems, and they made her like a really good unit. Jack is like niche. You only use him to farm EXP and for Rumble. Pudding, like, again, I might be a little bit biased, but like Pudding, I would honestly put her in A tier, but I have to, like, yeah, pump her down a little bit to the B tier. But yeah, Limit Break, Super Evolution, whilst a lot of people were disregarding it, saying that it was like the worst Super Evolution of the year and everything, I firmly disagree. The Super Evolution that they gave her actually made her like so much better and gave her so much more usage now she can be like your main despair and bind reducer in your team. You know, you don't need to worry about bringing a specific unit for that. And you'll also get still like the cooldowns and all of that stuff. I think this pudding is still like really solid. She was good before and now she's even better. And then we have this Brook, which upon expansion I still think is not terrible. It wasn't terrible. It's a very fun unit to build for. I actually have fun building teams for Brook. But yeah, Brook teams are like we have the chance to do so, like to use Brook for this Arena Queen. But apart from that, we didn't really have like much content that was really like good for Brook in a good amount of months. So it's nice to finally have some content for it. And now finally we have the last one, which is Odin. I think this Odin is A tier, probably S. Now S captain or S sub, I'm not sure, because this is an interesting one. Yeah, because Odin is like really good upon super evolving, and it's like an S tier captain probably. I would say yes, and I would actually like bump Queen down, and what else? What other adjustments? Probably put like Vivi Rebecca and Shanks Crew in S tier sub. And yeah, I think that this like this it could work. Odin, like the super evolution is just like goated. Is so good. Like the amount of stuff that they did for him. Whilst it may not seem like it's much, it actually is a lot much. And it just made the unit like so much better, both as a captain and as a sub. So yeah, I'm not sure if I would put him like S tier sub or S captain, because Odin, I don't actually own Odin myself. So when I use Odin, it's as a friend captain. But yeah, for now I'm gonna have to put him here because I've only used him as a friend captain. Maybe in the future when I get him, things may change. So yeah, that was it. I'm gonna scroll down slowly so that you guys can see what I have here. And this was a very long video and I'm sorry about that, but if you liked it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel because I'm trying to make some money out of here. And yeah, with that guys, I'll see you guys on the next time.